Hyphen, as when we talked earlier, you told me that you were a D-rate kid.
Yeah.
And I know by D-rate that means that you were probably on medications and went to a lot of therapy and stuff of that nature. Did you attend any of that stuff?
Yeah, they made us do counseling and group homes, counselors assigned to group homes, or medicine, and this diagnosis, that diagnosis, this medicine, that medicine.
Do you remember some of the things that you were diagnosed with?
Bipolar, ADD, ADHD, explosive disorders, insomniac, everything.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you really believe that their diagnoses were true, or do you think that they just medicated you to
control us?
To control.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Everybody was on medicine.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you first started taking medicine?
9.
Wow.
9 years old, in the pill line. And then we'd teach ourselves at 9 years old how to hide the pills in our mouth and spit them out when the staff turned around.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at good group homes too, like Hillview Acres. They still medicate you.
Yeah. Children who are in group homes and a lot of children in the foster homes are dealt with, given medication to deal with their behavior. Not necessarily because the kid is bipolar, ADHD, and all these other things that they can come up with that kids have, but mostly to control the children, sedate them. The idea, if you sedate them enough, you can control them, and then that way you can get them to do what you want to do. But what they don't realize is all of these psychotropic drugs that are being given to these children are causing harms in other ways. Mr. Finn here himself has just told us that he started taking psychotropic drugs at age 9. He went in the system at age 5. He was emancipated at age 18. You think of someone taking a psychotropic drug for 9 years, it has to leave some type of effect or chemical imbalance in their body.
Do me a huge favor. Normally I get a chance to talk to the kids that are still in the system. We kind of try to warn the public about the dangers if we don't change what happens to them once they get emancipated. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened with you when you turned 18?
Okay. Well, when I turned 18, I ended up moving out on my own dime, and I ended up meeting who would eventually become my wife. But I was kind of the exception to the rule. A lot of my friends didn't end up like that. I stopped taking medicine. I wasn't supposed to, but I stopped taking the medicines when I was about 16. I just refused to take medicine.
Do you think that if you would have stayed on that medication like they prescribed for you, you would have had a more difficult time adjusting to regular society?
Absolutely. I would have had a way more of a difficult time. I would have been dependent. They had me on Ritalin, Adderall, Xanax, Zoloft, Paxil, clonidine patches, time-release Ritalin.
You mentioned guys that weren't able to get off the medicine. Their lives were a little different than yours. What's some of the tragedies or some of the bad things that you heard?
Ended up addicted to harder drugs that were kind of in the same family, like methamphetamine or smoking a lot of marijuana or drinking. So I had gotten that out of my system at least as much as I possibly could. So I was able to try to live a functional life, but even trying to live a functional life, I pushed people away. I pushed my wife away. I pushed my friends away because I didn't believe that they cared. I thought it was just fake. And I still, to this day, don't understand why. Talking to your mom, she helped me understand a little bit more about it. But it's hard to trust people. I don't trust people. I only trust my son because he's my son. But I started living on my own, and then I eventually ended up going into service, and that helped me out a lot too.
How old were you when you joined the service?
I was 19 years old
And what year was that?
in 2003.
What happened when you joined the service?
I ended up going to Fort Knox for basic training in AIT and stationed at Fort Irwin back in California. And then in 2005 I deployed to Iraq, and my son was 6 months old when I went to Iraq, and I came back in 2006, and he was a year and a half, and I was even more of a different person according to everybody that knew me. And just finished out my service in 2000.
Going from the foster care system to the military, was it different as far as the social environment? Was it hard for you to adapt, or was it?
No, it was easy to adapt because I was used to having to adapt to new and uncomfortable situations. So it wasn't as hard for me as it would have been for the kids that grew up in the sheltered house with the mom and the dad and the easy life going into the hard military life. For me, it wasn't hard. It was actually same old, same old. And then eventually after the military, I ended up getting into drug use. But I'm able to say I'm sober now because of the VA and some friends now that I'm able to trust. But I've pushed a lot of people away.
Did you graduate from high school?
I did graduate from high school, but I dropped out of regular high school and I ended up going to adult education. But I did that on my own when I was 19. I did that out of the foster system and out of the group home system, out of the system.
So you actually received your diploma after you were emancipated from the system?
Yes.
What would be more the one thing that you think that you could change that would make a difference for the rest of the kids that are still there?
Stability with a loving home. Finding someone that cares enough to want you and keep you and not want to put you in to a new home in 4 months or a year or 2 years even, or even 3 years. Something that has longevity. Something that puts you through to see you graduate from high school, from elementary, first grade to high school to college to a family. Someone that you can call your mom and your dad, but irregardless if they're biological. You know, no matter what the race is, no matter what, that doesn't matter. My mother was a schizophrenic, and she always said that she would kill herself if I got adopted, but that's not the same case for everybody. And really, she would have seen that it would have helped me. That was my mom's sickness, so that kind of shrouded it. But I know that if I was adopted by someone like this lovely lady over here, I would have been very happy. And I'm saying that. No one told me to say that. I know that. And I know that there are good people out there. It's just few and far between. And anytime you seem to get put into a good home, it only lasted for 4 months because they want to take you out of there, you know? What
are some of the reasons that it caused a child to get taken from a home?
You don't even know. You feel like it's your fault, but maybe, I don't know. I don't think it was. I mean, how could a kid be blamed for moving out of a house, you know? That's why all of us had problems, because we'd go from one set of rules to another, or to none, to rules, and we didn't want to have rules. We were just in a place for the last year where we didn't have any rules. So, and then you hear about places like McLaren Hall, they have molestation, and you get molested in places, and you ain't gonna trust nobody. That's why it's hard. That's why good homes are very important.
Yourself. I appreciate you being very, very honest with us today. You know, you have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.